Welcome back to round number 3 of 4 here at Guardian Games for Modern Mondays. We're Portland Paper. I'm Travis Cooper, hanging out with Ian Lunger, and we have table number 1. We have Zeke on 4-color creativity, old Guardian grinder. It's been a while since I've seen Zeke playing Andrew on Elves. I think it's a combo Elves version here, and looks like Andrew's on a mulligan.
Wait, what? Somebody has Zerda as their companion? Is that for elves? That's awesome if that's for elves.
We're playing combo elves.
That's so cool.
I think this is combo elves, and we have Pilapala that's in here, and there's a infinite mana thing that's going on.
Oh man, I'm excited. So let's actually take a look at Zerda the Dawnwaker, as that is not a card that we have seen much in Modern. Deck requirement. What is the deck requirement here, Travis?
Abilities, let's see, each permanent card in your starting deck has an activated ability, which Elves is pretty good at.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like you're losing stuff by... You're not going to play the Drain Gain elf. There's a couple like ETB elves that'll give you an extra elf, so it's kind of all in on activated abilities. But I think the idea, it's stretching you a little bit. It's like bring kind of the edges of my Modern fringe deck knowledge. But you're going to play Pilapala, and then there's an equipment that you can attach in the something. It generates some mana, then you can untap a thing for a certain amount of mana. You're tapping, anyways. Hopefully we'll see it happen. I'm at a little bit of loss here.
We'll get to it when we get to it. But most importantly, Andrew is sitting on the battlefield with, I believe, a Lawnmower Elves or an Elvish Mystic. I don't know. It's a promo printing.
It's a Llanowar Elves. Llanowar Elves, yep, and an Archdruid. Those are all activated abilities that those elves have. And now we got a Devoted Druid. Maybe Zeke, I bet Zeke has a reman. Is like, is this worth it? And I guess it is worth it.
It's going to be pretty temporary. I gotta say, if you're on Zeke's side, you never want to see that basic island when you're in a matchup that you know is going to be fast. So I'm sure... for Zeke with that opener, kind of annoyed probably that the basic island has to come out as part of this opener.
Oh boy, 3 mana in the pool right now. I have no idea what that is.
Circle of Dreams Druid. Gwen, what is that really? That's not what it's called. Help.
Yeah, I love the enthusiasm for elves.
Oh, okay, thanks, Gwen. It's another Archdruid, just a different art, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah, it's same but different. Okay. All right, killing an Archdruid, making a treasure. I wonder. I think this deck might play Stoneforge Mystic. Oh, that's a thing.
Okay,
that's the thing that does the thing.
We're gonna find Umbral Mantle. We will find the Umbral Mantle.
It has a thing where you can untap you can untap a creature and I think plus it. Oh boy, we sound, Ian and I are actually smarter than we sound right now.
I don't know.
Everyone knows.
I'm not smarter than Umbral Mantle Elves.
I think you're like when you had that reduction for activated abilities. Uh,
Wait, what just happened?
uh, Andrew was going to be able to generate 3 mana, and then to activate the ability on Umbra Mantle that it grants a creature, to untap it and then give it +2/+2. So it was on the
I
Archdruid
see.
effect creature. So just basically make that infinitely large.
Okay.
And Zeke had no blockers and just a treasure, so could not remove it. So yeah,
Well, that was dope.
that was dope. We got, yeah, love it. When we've had a lot of cards today that I have not seen cast in Modern for a very long time. I have seen Umber Mantle and the Pia Pala, that the tongue twister creature deck.
No, man. You're on your own down the Pila tangent.
I'm on. You're leaving me on an island, man.
I don't know.
I'm on an island with just some vague memories of cards that are like 10 years old.
Yep. Modern's an old format at this point.
That art is also sick. I love that art.
Yeah, it is. I don't think I've ever really taken that close of a look at it, but it is the sort of art that's even cooler the more you look at it.
I don't even know how to talk about sideboard.
Well, unless Andrew decides to not reveal Zerda, I can tell you that Andrew's sideboard is definitely not including any permanents that don't have activated abilities. So,
So I guess, okay, Andrew's probably going to have relics in the sideboard, right?
yeah, Relic seems like a really good one.
What else? I like this
But
game.
not in this matchup.
No.
Force of Vigor is probably in Andrew's sideboard, but again, I don't really think it's that good in this matchup. I don't really know what Andrew's like.
Yeah, I have no idea. I would like...
Veil of Summer
No.
is not good, and I mean Zeke's playing some counter magic, but
There's white cards are available. Andrew's got a pretty heavy white splash, which I would wager there's Stoneforge Mystics in the deck
Right.
to get Umber Mantle, but
white cards aren't available.
why not?
Veil's blue-black.
I know, but Andrew's playing white cards,
I
so
see.
there's white cards in Andrew's sideboard potentially.
I
so,
see what you're saying.
Yeah. And Zeke doesn't like it.
So Andrew cannot play. What's the little Kithkin? Help me.
we're
green
killing
white-
it tonight.
green-white
What's,
Kithkin.
what's the little Kithkin? Something Andrew can or cannot play.
Can't play it.
Well, so
I'm gonna
we
let
don't
it
remember
go.
names of cards that we
I'm gonna
know
let
that
it
aren't in
go.
the sideboard.
I'm letting it go, Travis. I'm letting it go. Gaddock Teague. Somebody helped me.
I feel like there's going to be cards that are like 1 or 2 mana more than what their effect would be on the most efficient modern cards, that are cards that have activate abilities or creatures. And we're going to see some of those from Andrew's
I
deck.
have to have some activated ability flavor text.
We've all checked out Umber Mantle. We've like really we've been attuning to
Taking
that
it
art.
in.
All right, Elves doing what Elves wants to do. Turn 1 mana accelerant. Elvish Mystic this time. I like that Elves have a bunch of different cards that do the same thing, that all cost 1. I love it.
Okay, Zeke with the better start here, not being stuck on a basic, should be able to potentially turbo out to 3 mountains into, I imagine the Sarah's Emissary is now in the deck from the board.
Yeah.
We didn't really get to see game 1, whether Zeke was playing the Archon build or what.
I'm assuming it's the Archon build. So all the assumptions we're making in this match. If Zeke is on the Archon build, are you taking out all of the Archons and just having emissaries in your deck?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can get in trouble by drawing it, which is a little rough. I think Zeke just got all of the value from that Sunset Revelry, which is kind of the dream.
I like how there's a bunch of different builds of creativity, and you might not know what the payoff is, the different color combos. It's really cool to see that deck being explored. And we got the turn 2 Archdruid. It's where you want to be. Definitely need a removal spell for Zeke here. And have the bolts. I feel like Sunset Revelry was a card I thought was going to get a lot more play than it actually is seen.
Yeah, it's kind of barely on the edges of playable, and honestly, I think it is at its very best in this 4-color creativity deck, as making tokens is extreme. Like every element of the card is extremely relevant in this creativity deck.
All right, basic forest.
Oh, I'm getting word that Zeke's on straight up Jeskai. No
Okay.
green or black cards.
So I guess we're at Immercool and Sarah's emissary at that point.
Well, let's update that.
Arboreal Druid and another card that's an elf. Yeah, that is Realm Walker, correct.
That's actually a new edition.
That's the play elves off the top card. To pick a creature type when it ETBs, play that creature type off the top, I think.
I guess technically not gonna
I was watching some of the Hunter Burden this weekend, which is always cool to see some. I'm a big fan of any live paper Magic being streamed, and was in chat, and a bunch of people was like, were mildly roasting the commentators for not knowing what cards were. And I was sort of empathizing with them, and it was sort of became a topic in chat and was recognized by the commentators that the last few years there's just been so many card arts for cards, where it used to be maybe there was a card that was really wildly played that would have a couple promo versions, but it's like the past 3 years there's 4 to 5 to 6 versions of cards, and if you don't draft and you only play these kind of like constructed formats, you're not going to be like intimately familiar with all the different arts for the cards. And boy howdy, sometimes it's hard to know what people are playing if you can't actually read the text.
Even if you draft, you bet your booty that you're going to get secret layered.
Secret
and
layered are
something's
like
going to pop up and you're going to have no idea.
our commander, our collector's boxed, our alternate art only collector's box, foreign language versions, who knows?
That's a good catch. So this
Oh, yes, so that's what we're talking about, that you cannot play Realm Walker with Zerd as a companion.
I'm not gonna ever bring in. So
Oh, that's a good one.
scavenging ooze, but I brought in endurance. I never actually had it sideboarded.
So I did this recently when Luris was legal with Mill, and I shame conceded on the spot.
Which we do not think Andrew should do
No,
that at
no,
all.
I'm not
Yeah.
suggesting that Andrew should do that, but that's what I felt like I should do, and that's what I did in this case. But I think, leave it up to the judge to decide what the course of action here is.
I think what happens is the planeswalker or the companion just is in the sideboard at this point. I've heard this judge call before, and it's one of those situations where some rules have changed in the past couple years, where I think the goal is to make it be more fun and like less like uber punishing when you make a mistake. But when you're, making maybe mulligan decisions by looking at a companion, if you're not like penalized for that, I feel like that's rough. If you're the deck that's playing against like, here's this information that gives me this huge advantage, this card to have, and it's like, well, take that back.
Yeah, I kind of feel personally, I kind of do the same thing for pacts as I do for something like this with companions, which is like my own punishment to myself is that I want to remember not to do that again. So I'm going to give myself the game loss and move on. But I don't expect that out of anybody else. It's just how I want to, what I want to hold myself to.
So how screwed am I on this?
Oh my god. Honestly, I should be embarrassed because I literally looked through this deck myself earlier.
Judge ruling is happening right now.
Game is going to be a game loss, and
Okay.
then you sideboard such
Sideboard.
that your deck
not
is
present.
legal to have Zerda in it.
Okay. Can I
And
take
not-
Zerda out
not
in the
present.
sideboard?
Sorry?
Not present Zerda in our next game.
You are allowed to do
Okay.
that as well.
I'd rather
Yes.
do that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Okay.
Bad Zerda.
Sorry.
No worries. I was thinking, maybe.
All right. Yeah, the judge ruling was game loss for this game for Andrew, and then they can go into the next game by presenting a legal deck. So
We get game 3.
What
Yeah.
I did for
All right.
rebrewing the deck the night after with a glass of whiskey.
I think this is probably the sort of thing that, like,
Yeah.
the number of people who have done this with companions, I think, is extremely high, and the number of times it actually gets caught during matches, I think, is much lower than that.
I wanna
yeah, I've seen it happen several times just at casual REL like tournaments. And it's usually it's usually in decks that people are taking. What I think happens is people get deck lists from the internet that are popular or winning, that then have a plan of like, okay, in certain matchups, I'm not revealing my Gigantha, or I'm not revealing my whatever card it is, because this is valuable enough to have in the sideboard to board in for like game 2 or 3. And then folks don't think about that when they're playing the deck list that they got off the internet, and it's a pretty easy mistake to make, especially if it's one of the, like, Luris was straightforward, but some other cards are maybe a little bit.
Even
less.
Luris, I mean, yeah, sometimes it's the last card you're thinking of bringing in the board. I did it when I was playing Mill, and I was like, yeah, I think I want like one Ashiok. Like, I think maybe one Ashiok might be good here, and just slipped it in the deck, shuffle up, and started the game. It's just like sometimes the last thing on you. Companions are their own. They're such a weird thing.
Oh, really? This is my first time. being on the screen.
Yeah, so pretty much all of the weekly events you're going to have at any game store are going to be run at regular REL, and that is just because, like, to run something at Comp REL, you have to have registered deck list, which is just really hard to implement for a weekly night. I would say Guardian does hold the players tend to hold each other to a pretty high standard in terms of rules, and a lot of people will, if a trigger was missed and it was a May trigger, that we're not going to get like not a lot of take-backsies going on around here.
Past it with engineering close.
Yeah, I do believe I would respond to chat by saying that, regular REL, it's going to be at the judge's discretion, and the goal of it is to make sure everyone feels good about it. Things are legal in a legal state for the game according to the rules, but besides that, you're given a whole lot of leeway with what to do. There's not defined outcomes necessarily for things, except you can't miss mandatory triggers, etc. But it feels like everyone at the table seems to think that that was a fine ruling, so we're going to game 3.
This hand is
Of note, Zerda was not revealed for this game.
All right, Leyline of Abundance. So creatures that are tapping for green are going to add an extra green. It's a pioneer powerhouse for a while, for a brief moment in the sun. All right, we're going to exile the turn 1 elf.
Having the turn 1 interaction here for Zeke is really, really helpful in this matchup. Especially with Andrew having the ley line out. That could have easily snowballed.
And I think we were really counting on the elf living on Andrew's side here because we were missing land drop number 2. Do have a cavern though, which is going to help to resolve stuff through remand. Remand might end up just being a card that cycles. Bad cantrip this game.
Aether Gust you. You can choose the one top or the bottom.
Ooh, all right, we're Aether Gusting the elf, so.
Oh, sorry, I don't have any blue mana.
But there's no blue mana there. Just got red,
kidding.
green, and white.
Sorry, is that just target spell or is that?
Honestly, I think one of the most difficult parts of this creativity deck is the fetching. And I think that is 100% worth it to just send the fire at the elf and Andrew's face there.
Especially with Andrew missing land drops, you just want to kill everything that generates mana, so we're
Yep.
kind of rough spot here.
Yeah, where, you could probably get a 2-for-1 with fire. It's just, yeah, like you said, it's not worth letting Andrew develop the board at all. Got to keep your opponent stuck as long as possible.
And I don't know what Andrew probably knows what he's playing against. Zeke hasn't gone off. I'm curious if Andrew brought in pass, because if not, this just might be game over at this point. And Andrews would have to then draw white producing land if path's not in hand, path as well, so.
The nice thing about this situation is that Sarah's Emissary is also a rather quick clock. So we don't sit around and wait for the players to just draw out here. Either Andrew draws the removal spell, or Zeke beats Andrew down with a Sarah's Emissary.
We get to see Zeke's whole deck almost right now.
Oh my god.
There it is.
Oh, it looks like we just have one in the deck, unless there's, I think Zeke has 2 cards left.
Occasionally people will try and play 2 just so they don't get so screwed if they draw it, but I would believe that maybe Zeke has 1. It's also possible there's 1 in hand.
Okay. What do you think that Sarah Emissary is choosing?
I think it's choosing creatures.
Sweet. It's a wise choice.
Although I would not even begrudge Zeke for choosing instant.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're not afraid of... Andrew has not played a card. It'll take several turns for Andrew to set up, and, Emissary is a 3-turn clock. So that actually may be a heads-up play. And we got a crab on D here, plus a clue token.
I wanted to respond to your hard evidence.
Oh, sorry, what do you got?
Are you okay with?
Yeah, did you draw already?
I did, unfortunately. Your turn. The chances of me getting something out of this is going to be,
Pretty low.
yeah.
Looking pretty rough.
It's the fairies.
That's going to make it really rough.
Bonds.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was somewhere to try and draw a card.
I
You
can't do that.
fail.
Uh,
Play the year outs.
We're going to let that go.
yeah.
Oh, I should be
That-
discarding
Little
too.
salt here.
We're just going to
Yeah.
let that go because this game's going to be over. But when we, if Andrew comes back and rewatches it, yeah, just remember you can't do it with Cavern.
Yeah, there's some rust we're all shaking off here. Hopefully there's... Okay, we just had the bolt. Okay. I'm gonna go find another match, see if we probably got someone going to game 3, maybe even a game 2 here, and we'll return shortly.